It's time for all the weeks of tension to give way to relief, a lot of relief. In fact, they're so loud, those sighs of relief, that you can almost, you've been hearing them all day almost. There are, of course, celebrations. There's some anxiety, perhaps some disappointment as well. But of course, life isn't just all about exam results. It never is. We are here with a bunch of students, parents, and of course, the teachers, all of them who played a very key role in the results that we are now seeing at the Heritage School in Gurgaon. Let's get started right away. Give me a sense of what the last couple of weeks have been like. You know, the exam ends and then there's just this unending wait.
Yeah, the result got postponed this time by a lot of days, so there was a lot of tension, panic, and like the result was supposed to come on Monday, but it was delayed by a lot of days.
Right.
So my mornings used to start at like 5 in the morning, which is not very usual for me, and it till 10, which was the time the result which was supposed to be declared.
Right.
So I couldn't eat anything till that
Every
time.
day, huh?
Every day.
Okay.
I didn't even drink milk till that time, so it was
Oh,
that
God.
scary and terrible.
Right. No, I can just totally understand. Give me a sense of, you know, what are the family conversations around? Is a sort of, like the family sort of, where is the result? Kahan hai result? It still hasn't come? Are you sure it still hasn't come? Have you checked? I mean, this is how it used to be in my time. Is it? I would imagine nothing has changed. If anything, it sort of got even more intense.
It's actually very intense, like considering the really high cutoffs in DU and everything. But yeah, the conversations generally are like, okay, so how much are you expecting this time in this subject, that subject? Okay, how were your papers? Do you think, did you ask the teachers? Did you compare your answers with the rest of the students?
Right.
So that's been happening since the exams finished, and it's been like that.
Right.
All the
Sort of,
conversations.
it does get really drawn out. So I would imagine it does get quite tough. And I would imagine, ma'am, that it's also quite, well, not torturous, but it also tests the teachers. I mean, here they are waiting, because in many ways it's also, you know, the results also a reflection of all the teachers and all the work that they've put in. So give us a sense of what it's like. The waiting must be quite acute there.
It is. We have worked really hard at focusing with these students on their own goal setting this year. I think the teachers have worked with them really closely to mentor them. We've always been a very relational school, so the kids work for their teachers as much as anything. I think they really feel motivated to meet their teachers' expectations, and this year we especially worked hard on helping them set their goals, helping them believe that they could achieve it. There's no reason they can't achieve this.
That's of course key to know.
Yes,
through
it's really,
everything.
and I think it's
you
worked.
can't.
I think that close support and the various sessions they had in being, you know, at one point I think we thought, well, maybe we've raised expectations too hard, and then what if they're disappointed, they don't meet their own goals, and will that set them back? So then I think they had one more session, right? When, you know, how are you going to handle it no matter how they come out?
I just want to understand, you know, from the family's perspective, we are sort of in this age where it is like, it is all or nothing. You know, unfortunately, these marks really count. As much as we might say that, you know, don't worry about it, it's not the end of the world, but they really do count. So as a parent, what do you believe, I mean, how far should parents go? Because often the focus is, never mind the child, they're driving their children, look where we are driving our children, we are driving our children, you know, around the bend, there's too much pressure. So where do you believe a parent's role comes in, and how did you personally handle it?
See, nowadays the things have really changed. Not before the exams, even after the exams. We are having a sleepless nights.
Yes.
Because everybody's waiting for the results, and this competitive world, a lot of things that you are giving the interviews and getting selected, meeting counselors every day. Result is not still out, but we are filling forms.
Oh, I see.
We are getting admission. My daughter has got admission in MAT also.
I see.
Result has come yesterday, but she is already enrolled in MAT, and a lot of other kids.
Okay.
So we had to rush here and there, and there to have a mental pressure for the kids also,
And
we are living our own pressures also.
right, absolutely.
So it's become very difficult.
Right.
And whenever we talk to our kids, why are you going for a movie? Let's fill a form for. There's a lot of courses. I think everybody is doing the same thing. There's lovely professionals or MAT or APJs and all these skills. And the moment school is also organizing some type of counseling sessions.
Absolutely.
I think I have met two to the educationists that where we can have, in case she doesn't get a due admission,
Right,
that
so
where we can do.
you haven't got your result, but you've got
Of
plan
course,
A, B,
B,
and perhaps C
C.
also sort of in place,
Yeah.
just in case. And you're
Whether
saying
she-
there's no option.
There's no option whether she will study in daily.
But I have to ask you, but I know what you're going through. I can
Of
imagine
course.
what you're
Yeah,
going
yeah.
through entirely. and all of that. But I want to ask you that when you're going through it, do you sort of ever sort of pause and say, what are we doing? Like, what on earth is going on? And it's a reflection of the system. It's not a personal comment. It's
Of
all of
course.
us and the system.
I'd say only the one thing, we have changed.
Okay.
The life was very simple earlier.
Right.
We are also aware of it that if we get 65% marks, we will get an admission here.
Right.
If we got 94, then Sriram College.
Right.
But now the
Exactly.
options are so much
Right.
that everybody's get confused.
Right. Exactly.
What to do and what not to do.
Absolutely.
I met 3 educationists and 3 have given it different paths.
Oof. I'm sure that
Then you go more
doesn't make-
confusing.
But why did you meet the second and third after you met the first?
Maybe to get a same opinion.
I see. You wanted to just hear it, cross-check it. There's no harm in getting a second opinion. But, just coming back to the students for whom I would imagine that there's so much relief, we've just heard a parent there describe what it's like. What's it been like for you, beyond the waiting, beyond the anxiety, beyond the nail biting? Are you sort of sorted in your head, this is where I'm going, this is what I'm doing, and this is my road ahead?
Actually, I am, because I wanted to do designing, and I had
And you've managed what you wanted in
yes,
design.
I actually wanted to get into NID, and I didn't, and that was a rough time. But then I got over that, and even during my board exams, I had entrance. So I did that, and I thought that I should get above 90, even though my marks didn't matter. So I mean, it was pretty hectic, but I think all of us did an amazing job in getting our marks.
Absolutely. And of course, to handle the pressure and come out of it, so wonderfully.
I think that that whole time when we were giving the board exams, it was everything. All my emotions were they were mixed emotions. I mean, I was scared, I was stressed, and in a way, I was thinking that okay, so if I have to give engineering entrances, why focus so much on my board exams? But then when my result came yesterday, I was shocked, and I would literally say that the tables have turned. I mean, I wasn't expecting a 95, and now I'm looking at colleges in DU and I'm checking their cutoffs, and I'm looking at everything. Like, there's so many options open for me right
So
now.
you're saying earlier you thought you perhaps were restricting yourself, but now your marks have come and you're candid enough to say I did better than I thought I would, and now suddenly there's sort of like a world of opportunities
Yeah,
right
yes.
at your doorstep.
Yes,
Right.
that's
Well, that's great to hear. But I just want to get in a view from the teachers. These are of course some very, very bright students, and we've been speaking to a whole lot. But there are perhaps an equal number, or maybe even more, who don't always make the cut. Who are not going to perhaps manage the top colleges and all of that. How do you sort of speak to them? What would you say to them, or what should we be saying to them? What should their teachers and parents? How do you handle it? Because unfortunately, we're at a sort of at a position, at a stage where it's all or nothing. Cutoffs. We've even seen 100% cutoff, which means you expect everyone. You expect students to max every paper. So for those who don't, I would imagine as a teacher, it's as important, perhaps even more, to focus on those students. How do you handle it?
It's definitely a challenging job, and I think every day when you meet these students, they come in with different emotions, they have different aptitudes, and you get to see all of that as a teacher. But I think the job of a teacher and why it makes it so much more value creating is so that you can see the potential in each and continue to remind them. So 365 days of the year, that is your job, to help every student awaken to this great potential that they have within. Right. Which requires a lot of effort beyond just delivering the curriculum to them, ensuring that they get the marks, but also it's a bond that you create with the student, and then slowly you're just uplifting their own beliefs about themselves. So I think there's nothing more rewarding than actually going through that exercise and going through that effort with the students
I would imagine
together.
that we sort of keep that holistic education in mind. But do you believe that we are actually creating these holistic individuals? Given the kind of education system that we are looking at, the one criticism that one often hears is, we're just sort of becoming this assembly line system where we're just sort of creating similar products, expecting everyone to sort of max it. And do you believe that, how do you see?
Kids have options today. And earlier the options were that he's good, okay, he goes to science, studies designing, humanities, arts and things like that. I don't think there's so much of it that 100% max, you have to max it. No, it's not like that. What you have to do is that firstly you have to be very clear as to what you want to do. Right. Like my son is sitting here, he's maxed everything, he's doing IIT, and now I asked him yesterday, he says, I don't know what to do.
Okay.
Because he says, I told him, yeah, you can go to DU, you can go to IIT, you can go to BITS, Pilani, what all you cleared. Right. He says, let me think. Right. So what I'm going to do is fill everything. Yeah. and then let him make a choice. So you don't have to max everything.
Right.
It's okay.
What I really like about these youngsters is, I mean, they are sorted enough to know that this is not what I want to do. You know, I'm not going to just take it because it's coming my way. I find that, you know, like a very, I don't know, maybe a new generation thing that they're, you know, I don't want this and I'm quite clear about it. Your father's spoken very highly of you, but how does one, how do you sort of make that choice? How do you sort of, you know, he's named all the options, the topmost institutes, the most sought after ones. So he's saying that you're still not quite sorted, you want your time.
Yeah.
What's going to make the decision for you?
There's actually a lot of things that go into your mind. One is, I was always interested in science. So I always dreamt of being an engineer, and basically I wanted to do my major in computers. But now after the boards, I got a good percentage. Now there are a lot of options that are open for me. I can get into DOA if I want to, if none of the other options open.
Right.
But then again, my main priority would be engineering.
Really? Okay. So you're sorted enough to know that. What about you? Have the results, because my sense is that the results for some have sort of changed the way they were thinking. They may be wanting to go down a path, but the results have come, and you know, like in your case, and then suddenly there's all the options open. What's been your experience?
Well, I'm in such a situation that even after scoring like 94%, I'm not even sure of that even if I'll get into DO or no. I really want to go into Venkateshwara because I want to pursue the career of cricketing. I want to become a cricketer.
I see, okay.
Yeah, but then, I mean, even after scoring such a percentage, I'm not sure that even if I get into the college, I mean, what the cutoff will be.
Right. And that, of course, brings me back to my point of crazy cutoffs and what we expect really from our students. Now, you were speaking earlier about, you know, your experiences about you did really well, but you didn't have the time, or perhaps it was tough to manage the time, or whatever. What was that you couldn't focus on other sort of more specialized exams?
I did not take any coaching for any entrance exam. I just enjoyed my life, enjoyed the studies, somehow did well in the boards.
I enjoyed the studies. That's quite rare to hear, I must say. I mean, that is quite something.
Yeah, because I did not used to study as such. I used to try to learn and try to use my brain every time, every minute in the classes. So
I'm sure your teachers are going to be very kicked on hearing that.
And
I'm pretty
I
sure.
did not pay him to say that.
But I think this will somehow help me. I have an option to take a gap year. I can apply for the best colleges, and it will somehow take me far beyond.
Right.
To do whatever I'm actually interested in.
There's no crazy anxiety at your end. You know, you're like.
Well, I am disappointed because I haven't attended any coaching. I should have done better in boards. Somehow disappointed, but well, okay. Now it sounds like a joke after putting in so much effort and suddenly such excellent results have come out. It doesn't feel very tense. I don't feel that tensed about it.
That's
actually
quite good to
quite
hear.
a good position.
What about your family? Not tense either?
I've already told them this before. They know what I'm interested in. So, well, somehow everywhere everybody talks about the marks, but I don't feel that much tension. Even they are not that tensed because 95.2 is not bad. It's quite respectable.
I would say it's brilliant, but I would say it's absolutely brilliant. But through the day to day, I've been meeting people who've been saying, you know, we got 90 and we did so badly. We got 88, and it's just. I mean, to my mind, it's a very sorry comment on the system really as a whole that you get 88, you know, and say that you've done this way. But for all those watching, ma'am, who sort of, you know, are wondering, is there a particular kind of student in your experience who then tends to do really well in all your experience? Are they sort of, you know, the studious types? Are they those who sort of get the right mix of work and play? Is there a certain kind of student or not in your experience?
If you'll ask me, there's no such kind of student who would do well. There's no category. It's just
are there some personality traits that you want to have?
Yes,
or no, not
the dedication has to be there. And I think they should be sorted about what they want to do. The goal should be very clear. And after that, there are a lot of students, you know, I have seen like in this group, even they themselves did not expect that good percentage from themselves.
Right.
But they've done extremely well because they were so focused. Yes, it does take them some time. Certain students become focused from the day one.
Right.
But, you know, they've really, actually, if you'll say, they are at par with them now. There are students who've got 96, but there are others who were scoring a 70, have managed to come up to 95.